You're a single mother, aren't you? I'm sure finances are tight for you. We can address your situation later. Just keep waiting. It's a small price to pay per hour. Go back and wait there. Upon returning to the counter to withdraw money with my son Albert, the bank teller, observing that I was a single mother, looked down on us, subjecting us to hours of waiting. I was on the brink of anger when Albert whispered an audacious idea, withdrawing the $60 million we had in deposit to completely disrupt this place. We both grinned. I'm Anna Marilyn, residing with my husband Roy and our son Albert, who recently started kindergarten. I met Henry on a blind date during college, a time when I was immersed in studying for law school. Henry, attending medical school, was engrossed in clinical training. Despite the lighthearted notion of a blind date as a break from studies, fate took a turn, influencing the course of our lives. We hit it off, exchanged contact information, and began studying together at the library the following week. As my college was a national institution with relatively low tuition, I needed to save for law school and the bar exam. Henry, a busy medical student, lacked time for part-time work and had limited finances. Our dates were confined to studying at the library or each other's homes. Although we occasionally went out for lunch, the days with Henry were enjoyable. 5 years elapsed since our meeting. I was in my final year of law school and successfully passed the bar exam. Henry also passed the national medical examination, and we married after his training term ended. Working as a new lawyer and doctor, my responsibilities left me unable to tend to household matters. Despite the chaos, Henry never complained. I decided to quit my law career, leaving the firm when my last case concluded. Time moved at a surprisingly slow pace as I took care of household matters, the new baby, and Henry. The days have finally reached a point where I can focus on everyday life, a drastic shift from the frantic routine before. Until that moment, my life had been a journey. Albert, our joyous addition, grew into a precocious young boy, mastering the alphabet by the age of 2 and effortlessly reading analog clocks when he started kindergarten. Often, he would perch on Henry's lap, absorbing news on the computer and elucidating its contents to me during our evenings. Witnessing Albert's rapid growth during our trips to and from kindergarten surprised me, but Henry assured me it was normal, chuckling at the fleeting passage of time. According to Henry's mother, Henry exhibited similar traits as a child. The most tranquil years of my life unfolded as I embraced the role of a stay-at-home mom, raising Albert alongside Henry. In winter, when Albert turned 6, our family embarked on a skiing trip. The weather was splendid in the morning, but took an unexpected turn as we prepared to leave. Henry noticed something resembling a hat in the snow, and, being accustomed to emergencies in the emergency room, he went to investigate. A fierce blizzard struck, obstructing our view. I held Albert close, attempting to shield him, but when the storm subsided, Henry was gone. Despite rescue efforts, he succumbed to the snow's suffocating grip. I couldn't cry beneath the clear winter sky that had once brought joy. Albert, understanding the situation, hugged me, vowing to protect me. A void echoed in my heart, and Albert, despite his comforting words, needed protection too. Facing an uncertain future, Henry's inheritance offered financial support, but with Albert just 6 years old, the expenses ahead were daunting. Albert, displaying his father's intelligence, aspired to follow in Henry's medical footsteps, and the steep medical school tuition loomed. I wished to work part-time to make ends meet, but the fear of an unknown future without Henry's constant presence weighed heavily on me. My physical and emotional state deteriorated, and the responsibility of safeguarding Albert rested solely on my shoulders. With Henry's passing, my financial worries loomed large, my account diminishing daily. Albert, my reassuring anchor, hugged me, promising to protect me. Relieved by his presence, I started frequenting the local library to feed Albert's voracious appetite for books. Though expensive, this provided a lifeline, as Albert swiftly mastered high school-level terms by the time he graduated kindergarten. A few years later, at 9, Albert's commitment to reading remained steadfast. However, a significant change came when he finished 4th grade. I, too, experienced a transformation, returning to work as a lawyer. I had spent a decade in my 20s engrossed in the legal profession, but my health, which had suffered since Henry's death, began to stabilize. Nightmares and sleep disruptions lessened, enabling me to balance work and the bare minimum of housekeeping for Albert. While juggling legal duties, self-care took a back seat. Rushing to the office washroom for minimal makeup became a routine, and my wardrobe reflected neglect, wearing the same clothes for years. Aging unnoticed, I declined a college reunion offer from a friend, embarrassed by my appearance. One day, returning home with a sense of gloom, I found Albert gleaming in front of his new computer. He had won it in a TV quiz contest, a secret he had kept until the show aired. Overjoyed, I embraced him, recognizing Henry's spirit in his achievements. With the computer as a catalyst, Albert's life surged forward. A year after winning it, he immersed himself in technical books, delving into languages like Java and C++. As I worked, I could afford to nurture his passion. His study desk piled high with books on development topics astounded me. Unlike my legal background, Albert was venturing into unfamiliar territory. Late at night, staring at the sky, I spoke to Henry, realizing Albert occasionally delved into books from my own school days. Contemplating Albert's future, I felt a newfound confidence. Losing Henry had filled me with worry, but Albert, I believed, was destined to carve his unique path in society, just like his father. I held firm in the conviction that we should visit Henry's grave every year on the anniversary of his death. On that day, while heading home, Albert expressed a desire to buy a new computer. Our path led us to the bank, intending to withdraw the necessary funds. Suddenly, a man in a flashy, long coat collided with me, nearly causing me to trip. His large, flashy watch and brash demeanor invited annoyance. "Move! You're in the way!" he yelled, brushing off the incident. Despite the urge to complain, I refrained, considering it was Henry's death anniversary. Albert, concerned, asked if I was okay, and I hugged him tightly, reassuring him. As we reached the bank, a woman named Dorothy welcomed us with a smile, quickly processing our documentation. She handed us a number slip, explaining the wait due to the current rush. Seated on a sofa, Albert and I observed the man who had bumped into me earlier now at the counter. Albert, surprised, pointed him out. The bank clerk, seemingly dismissive, scribbled on the document showing no regard for the clients. An unexpected remark from the banker across the room left me stunned. He declared his intention to take care of us later, branding us as a struggling single mother and child. Albert and I exchanged glances, both appalled. Choosing to maintain composure, I diverted our attention to reading a book. Despite the passing time, our number was not called. I observed others, realizing customers who arrived later were being served promptly. Frustrated, I was about to voice my concerns when Albert advised against causing trouble, reminiscent of Henry's demeanor. Realizing it had been almost 3 hours and Albert also looked perturbed, I decided to inquire politely. Albert nodded in agreement. Approaching the counter, I politely expressed concern, stating our number, 58, had been waiting for nearly 3 hours. Approaching the counter, I maintained my composure while suppressing irritation. Responding to the dismissive attitude of the bank clerk, "Arthur?" I retorted. 3 hours? Who cares? It's so crowded here. Poor people like you should be attended last. Poor people like us. The disparaging remark about being a single mother and insinuating financial struggles did not go unnoticed. Just as I contemplated responding, a reassuring pat on my back diverted my attention. Turning around, I saw Albert with a beaming smile. Ignoring Arthur, he innocently questioned, "Mom, what will happen to the bank if we withdraw all of the $60 million we have deposited?" Arthur, scoffing at the idea, belittled Albert, claiming we couldn't possibly have such wealth. Unable to tolerate the mockery, I was about to retaliate when the branch manager, alerted by Sophia, hastily emerged from the back room. Witnessing the branch manager's astonishment at Arthur's behavior, I felt a sense of vindication. Apologies were extended, and we were led to a back room where refreshments were offered. Another staff member promptly took over the process, expressing deep regret for the inconvenience caused. Explaining our significant deposit, I shared that Albert, intrigued by computers, had successfully developed a hit app with friends. The company and deposits were made in my name, alleviating financial concerns. Albert, despite being in primary school, spearheaded the majority of the development, showcasing his remarkable skills. Leaving the bank after requesting Arthur be retrained, we headed to Henry's graveside. There, I recounted Albert's achievements and discussed his thriving gaming app. Despite the routine, it served as a comforting connection to Henry. Albert's peaceful demeanor, in contrast to my husband's occasional complaints, became a source of solace. As I updated Henry on Albert's accomplishments, we delved into the details of the gaming app once more. 6 months on the market, the app continued to attract new users, and each new release soared to the top of sales charts. Albert, demonstrating his coding prowess, handled the development and maintenance aspects with ease. I'm not skilled at drawing, so Olivia takes care of all the artistic aspects, Albert shared joyfully. He expressed that he didn't have many close friends at school, possibly due to his deep interest in computers and reading. Albert found fulfillment collaborating with older friends on computer projects, explaining that, while he may not code with his classmates, discussing intricate topics with his development team was a source of enjoyment. Speaking happily to Henry, Albert conveyed his determination to protect his mom in the absence of his father. I miss you a lot, but I feel like I'm here now because of you. When I grow up, I want to help not only Mom, but also many others who have lost their fathers, like my mom, declared Albert at Henry's grave. Albert progressed to junior high and high school at prestigious institutions in New York, excelling with straights. He pursued the same medical school as Henry, impressively passing both the bar and medical exams while still in school, making headlines. Speculation arose about Albert's career path, doctor or public prosecutor, but he chose to continue with the game app development company he founded in elementary school. After college, he revitalized the company and, notably, began hiring single mothers. I transitioned from my law firm to become the legal representative for Albert's company, applying my legal knowledge and experience. Despite occasional long hours, the company's policy against overtime work allowed me to enjoy a better work-life balance. About a year after Albert restarted the company, he informed me that Dorothy, the bank's former receptionist, had come for a job interview. Recognizing each other after more than a decade, Albert and Dorothy shared a connection. Arthur, the rude banker, had been dismissed, and Dorothy, having resigned due to harassment, found a fulfilling role as the president's secretary in Albert's company. Our monthly dinners became a tradition, bringing together Albert, Dorothy, Dorothy's daughter, and me. Reflecting on life's unpredictability, Albert remarked, "Life is most varied and enjoyable without friction." Albert, who had never pursued a serious relationship, seemed to be inviting Dorothy's daughter for dinner, creating unexpected connections and happiness. As I walked home after work, I spoke to Henry in my mind, asking him to keep watching over Albert and me, feeling a sense of comfort as the first star shone brightly in the sunset.